Now at 9, police in Fort Scott arrest a man who they say fired a gun at an apartment complex. Plus, Miami residents come together for several projects to clean up their city. And
former President Donald Trump is here in New York City to face charges in a criminal probe. I'm Alexis McAdams. All details coming up next.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. Well, you need to be aware of the possibility of severe weather tomorrow evening. We go straight to Chief Meteorologist Doug Ketty with the first look at the weather.
Yeah, we do have our fourth severe weather threat of 2023 for us tomorrow. Of course, ahead of storms, you warm up, it gets windy. That's what we had today. 86, look at the record. 87 set back in 2011. We do have wind advisories in effect. This is going to last until the storms get through here on Wednesday morning. It's going to be fine tonight. No worries about any thunderstorms tonight. Really a good chunk of tomorrow overall looks pretty good. And then it will get a little salty tomorrow night. Temperatures sitting mainly into low to mid 70s right now. We only drop back into the upper 60s by morning. Overnight low of only 67 degrees. But we do have that alert day for us Tuesday and Tuesday night. Thunderstorms Tuesday night. Some of those could be severe. We cool down Wednesday and Thursday. Thunderstorm chances again Sunday. We're going to talk about it all here in just a bit.
All right, we'll see that. Police in Fort Scott, Kansas arrested a man who they say fired a gun at an apartment building. Authorities responded to the Highland Apartments around 11 this morning for a call about a gunshot. Because of how close the building is to the Fort Scott Middle School, the school was placed on lockdown. Police set up a perimeter around the building and eventually got the suspect to exit the apartment. Formal charges are pending. Missouri and Oklahoma voters will head to the polls tomorrow. Polls open at 6 a.m. in Missouri and at 7 in Oklahoma. In addition to choosing new school board members, in the Sooner State, some of the big issues include a school bond in Grove and a sales tax to benefit the Delaware County Sheriff. In Missouri, since the legalization of recreational marijuana in Missouri, several counties and cities will decide on local taxes for the drug. Also, Carthage, Diamond, Neosho, and East Newton schools are among several districts with school construction bonds. The city of Carthage looks again to approve a bond for a new performing arts building.
Type of elections that it was on the ballot last year and it passed inside the city limits, but it failed outside the county, and it does require a 4/7 vote, so it has to be about 52% of the people, and it just didn't quite make it the last time, but it's going to be on the ballot this time.
The polls will remain open until 7 p.m. and Davis believes counties will begin reporting results around 8. Next week, each county will begin the process of certifying the election. That means election officials will hand count a minimum of 5 to 7% of the ballots to make sure the results match tomorrow's machine count. A small act of kindness led some Northeast Oklahoma residents to spring cleaning their town. KOAM's Carrie Worthen has more on the Facebook post that started a viral movement.
Well, I just noticed in my neighborhood there was an area that needed some attention, so I asked for some volunteers on my Facebook group, and I got several volunteers, so I thought, well, if we can do that little area, maybe we can move on to something bigger.
That is just what happened. From one post by Daryl Taylor, word spread and volunteers like Amber Childers offered the time to pick up trash around Miami.
Daryl Taylor had a list of places that he wanted cleaned, so I offered to pick one. I picked the one on Highway 69 from Tractor Supply to Jake's Fireworks, and that one took me, I started from 2 p.m., finished about 5:45 in the evening.
Taylor wasn't expecting the impact a Facebook group would have on a small town of Miami.
Without the group, I wouldn't be able to do this. I asked for donations of trash bags and supplies, gloves and grabber things to pick up trash, and Amazon was delivering to my house pretty heavy for a few days, and I probably received about $900 worth of trash bags and supplies.
But it wasn't all just for social media clout.
I did it because it makes me feel good about helping the community, and when I drive by knowing that, I was the one that helped the community look nice, it just builds your confidence up knowing that you're helping your community.
So, be a part of the solution, not the pollution. In Miami, Carrie Worthen, KOAM News.
Those who would like to help with the citizen-led cleanup of Miami can find more info on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Those cleanup efforts were inspired by a Facebook post telling Miami residents the NEO wrestling team would be performing a major cleanup project. The team today picked up trash in the area of Samwell Soccer Complex in Miami Sanitation Department. In the post, organizers asked the public for donations of heavy-duty trash bags and gloves for the students.
And he said, pretty much kind of called out some of the local schools and local areas and said, stop complaining and get up and help. And I like that, and I just like the attitude. I like how he's straightforward with it. So I sent him a private message saying, I'll offer our services, 30 guys, wherever you want us, anytime you can meet, we'll do it.
Members of the community were also welcome to volunteer in the cleanup. Former President Trump arrived in New York City for his expected booking and arraignment following his indictment on criminal charges last week. Fox News correspondent Alexis McAdams has the story.
Just hours before former President Donald Trump heads to court here in New York City, he's added yet another lawyer to his legal team to fight back against these charges. Former President Donald Trump has arrived in New York City ahead of his historic arraignment, and New York City was ready for him with a heavy police presence and barricades across the downtown. NYPD officers surrounding Trump Tower, where the former president is staying.
I want to make it clear, the commissioner has stated over and over again, there has been no specific credible threats to our city at this time.
While the exact charges remain under seal, this indictment stems from the alleged 2016 hush money payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels and former Playboy model Karen McDougal, which the Manhattan DA has been investigating for 5 years. Despite the allegations, Trump says he's innocent.
This is a case of political persecution. Had he not been running for presidency, he would not have been indicted.
Trump's legal team has vowed to fight the charges. On Monday, the former president also hired a new defense lawyer, Todd Blanche. As the former president gets ready to face a judge, his supporters get ready to rally in New York in a protest organized by Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene and New York's Young Republican Club.
While there may be some rabble-rousers thinking about coming to our city tomorrow, our message is clear and simple. Control yourselves.
And just since the news of this indictment broke, Trump's team says they've raised a record $7 million for his re-election campaign. Reporting in New York City, I'm Alexis McAdams, Fox News.
Coming up, we'll take a look at a new program that Parkinson's patients are using to stay active. A new program is offering Parkinson patients another way to stay active without spending a penny. Fox's Anita Roman has more.
Open to the back, reverse.
The music.
And then up. So there's this one that kind of curves around.
The moves.
So we have our 2 times, and then we do 8.
This is more than a dance class.
Stepping out, slide it in together. Tap shoulder twice. Tap twice.
I've had Parkinson's diagnosed for about 5 years.
For 1 hour on Wednesdays and Fridays, George Eckenrode is one of dozens of Parkinson's patients who practice their pliés at Ballet, Arizona. The program is offered in collaboration with the Muhammad Ali Parkinson's Center.
The thing about Parkinson's is it's a neurodegenerative disease. The brain is affected, and when the brain is affected, everything is affected. And so those things that can affect your brain in a positive way, like dance, singing, being with friends, endorphins from running, swimming, any positive activity can get those things helping, and they help your brain. What helps your brain helps you with Parkinson's.
Step out to second position, down.
I've been dancing since I was 3, and so I have my dance background, and then my father had Parkinson's, and he had it for about well over 25 years. And so I was familiar with Parkinson's, and I decided to do 2 things that I'm very passionate about.
Debbie Braganza is the dance instructor. She says movement is medicine and music heals.
It gets them out of their isolation and into a studio with people that also have Parkinson's. And we work on balance, we work on stretching, we work on also the cognitive side, which is coordination, and just learning different steps and learning different choreography every week.
1, 1. Circle the hands twice, down low. 1 more time, up high. Now hands to the corner.
Dance has the power to connect the mind and the body, and George says it has done so much more for him.
It is more than I could have expected. I can't believe that this is available for free for people like me.
The National Institute on Aging is making a big push to learn more about Alzheimer's disease. The federal agency has announced it's creating a massive Alzheimer's research database to track the health of Americans for decades. Its goal is to enable researchers to gain new insight into the brain-wasting disease. The project carries a price tag of $300 million and will go on for 6 years. The platform will collect information from various sources, including medical records, insurance claims, and pharmacies. About 1 in 36 children in the U.S. are diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder a year, according to the Centers for Disease Control. And still, scientists don't know what causes the developmental disorder. A new study suggests there could be a link between autism risk and levels of lithium in drinking water. Lithium is a rare earth metal found naturally in some food and groundwater. The study, published Monday in the journal JAMA Pediatrics, found a small association between the metal and autism diagnosis in Denmark. Doug is back with a complete look at the forecast, and later, the defending state champion Frontenac Raiders open their season against Fort Scott. We'll have those highlights in sports.
Well, definitely turned out to be a warm day for us today. Temperatures mid to upper 80s across the region, near record highs, 1 degree shy, which was set back in 2011. Which of course was a big severe weather season. Looks okay out there right now. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. We have pretty much clear skies. It's warm, it's windy. We have a wind advisory in effect. This goes all the way until the storms pass, which is going to be in about 30 hours or so, and then our wind advisory will be done. Nothing going on right now. We look fine, but our storm system is developing out to the west. You can see all the snow up across parts of Wyoming into the Dakotas. Big upper level low out across Central Plains. That is going to rotate out as we go through the next 24 hours. So it's going to stay windy. It is out there right now. We have sustained winds, kind of 5 to 15, and gusts have been up in that 20 to 30 mile per hour range. But this is actually going to increase. You can see the winds increasing in our southern counties as we go through the overnight hours tonight into tomorrow. So by morning, we're going to have gusts 40 to 45. Not quite as windy as what we had last Friday, but they're still going to get moving once again as we go through tomorrow. All right, 73 in Nevada, 74 in Neosho, 78 at Grand Lake, Pittsburgh 73. We have the Yates Center sitting at 69. Severe threat tomorrow, highest eastern Iowa. And then this little corridor is for tomorrow night, actually. So we do have a severe threat. The higher severe threat is going to be on the Missouri side, southwestern Missouri into northwestern parts of Arkansas. So if you want to talk about timing, there could be a few isolated ones in the afternoon. Most of our main timing is 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. Main threats are going to be hail and tornadoes. I'm going to keep tornado threat low, but I'm going to elevate hail and wind, something we definitely want to keep our eyes on as we get into tomorrow. All right, let's go through time. Tonight's fine. We only drop back upper 60s for overnight lows. We get some clouds in here tomorrow afternoon, but look at our temps. We shoot back into the 80s for afternoon highs. So we get up there, 68 in the morning, 78 by noon, 83 during the afternoon. Southerly winds 20 to 30, and gusts are going to be up there. A few isolated storms off to our east. I really think most of us stay dry until tomorrow night. So here's 9 p.m., still quiet. Then things get moving. Here's 10:30, a line develops in our western counties, plows east. Within this line, there could be a few spin-up tornadoes, so we need to watch that. And then ahead of it, we're going to get a few supercells in our southern counties. So this is something we really want to watch tomorrow night because these are nocturnal, and we are going to have a tornado and a very large hail threat. Once they get through, then things look pretty good. By the time we head into Wednesday, we just cool down. 83 tomorrow, 57 Wednesday. We are going to make tomorrow an alert day because of the severe threat, obviously. 61 Thursday, 66 Friday. So the rest of the week looks great. The weekend looks pretty good. Some thunderstorms in here late Sunday, which is Easter, believe it or not.
And then as for the potential severe weather, you can go on any app store and download our Skywatch weather app, correct?
It's free.
It's free. It'll even tell you if there's lightning strikes in your area. It's pretty
cool.
over the top. All right, thank you, Doug. Spring is in full swing, and so is pollen season. Nature's annual dusting of the yellow-green powder that spells misery for those with certain allergies, myself included. If you're one of those people, there are things that you can do to minimize pollens and how they impact you. Robert Castillo reports.
Pollen is often seen on vehicles as a yellowish powder, and it moves from plant to plant by wind and animals. Its purpose is to fertilize plants, but this can be bad news for those who live with seasonal allergies. Specialists say different pollen appears at different times in the year.
Trees are pollinating now, all right, and they'll go until about the time grass starts greening up. So grass is a May-June allergy. Tree is a March, April, May allergy. Same thing happens in the fall, right around Labor Day. Guess what happens? Weeds and now grass again.
Dr. Forehand is an allergist, and he says symptoms from pollen allergies include sneezing, runny nose, and swelling.
Our respiratory tract is lined with inflammatory cells, immune cells, and if they recognize it as foreign, as an allergy, you react. Not everybody does that.
Dr. Forehand says it's important to identify the type of pollen affecting you so you can better prepare to defend yourself against it. He says knowledge is power, so people should monitor pollen counts, take their allergy pills, use nasal sprays, and he recommends getting allergy shots.
It may not cure you, or it may not control you, but if you get any relief at all, it'll make a difference. Because people with uncontrolled allergies can't sleep at night and they can't concentrate when they go to work during the day. So they really need to do something.
Dr. Forehand says if people aren't sure which medication they need for their allergies, they should talk with a doctor about it.
Coming up, we'll take a look at a new survey that says Americans are tipping more. You may have noticed prices at the pump are slowly on the rise as spring break travel gets underway, but prices could change again soon following the news of OPEC Plus unexpected cuts to output. Reporter Melissa Rainey has more.
On Monday, oil prices suddenly spiked after a shocking announcement by OPEC Plus and its allies saying they would cut output. The group of oil-producing countries and allies will cut production by more than 1.66 million barrels a day, starting in May through the end of the year, according to a Goldman Sachs analysis. With oil prices already rising, this impact could soon be felt by Americans at the pump. On Monday, the national average for a tank of regular gas came in at just under $3.51 a gallon, according to AAA.
Whenever we see crude oil rise, 9 times out of 10, we're going to see an increase in gas prices. That can be anywhere between 3 cents to 10 cents.
So what does this mean for those planning to gas up and hit the road this spring break and summer?
It's about gassing up and monitoring what your gas prices are going to be along your road trip, depending on where you're going.
Many Americans are hitting the roads to beaches in the South like Georgia and Florida and on the East Coast, according to AAA spokesperson Montre Waiters. She predicts there's going to be an even bigger uptick in summer travel and offers a unique tip on having better gas mileage.
Get the junk out of your trunk. So the heavier your car is, the more it burns gas. I know when you're traveling, you can't help that, but try and pack smart.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Melissa Rainey.
U.S. home prices rose in February for the first time in 7 months. Lower mortgage rates reignited consumer demand. Median home prices climbed 0.16% in February from a month earlier, compared with a 3.4% drop in January that marks the strongest one-month gain since May of last year. Home prices are now just 2.6% below the peak notched last June. Saturday marked the end of Medicaid for about 15 million recipients, including thousands in Kansas. About 1 in 6 of those who received the government health insurance lost their coverage on April 1st. That's because states once again started checking eligibility of everyone on Medicaid following COVID. Some now make too much money to qualify for the program, while others may have relocated. If you are noticing more tip requests popping up, you're not alone. Tipping culture is out of control in the U.S., according to a survey from creditcards.com. Respondents say they tip more than 21%. A report says the coronavirus pandemic applied more pressure on consumers to leave tips for services they usually wouldn't have. The report also cites new technologies such as tablets and kiosks as a reason for tip requests becoming more common. Up next, how an organization in California is using technology to make sure all kids get a chance to hunt down Easter eggs. Easter is just around the corner, and children are ready to hunt for eggs. But what about children who can't see? An organization in California found a way for them to take part in the hunt even without seeing. Nearly 400 kids from the nonprofit Beyond Blindness join in the fun, searching for special beeping eggs. Kids are able to find them from the beeping sounds that they make. The Orange County Sheriff's Department normally uses the devices for training its canine units, but once a year they double as Easter eggs for the visually impaired. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Crowder College celebrates 60 years of educating students. Plus, the Joplin School District brings back a ceremony to honor students who performed well on standardized tests. Crowder College in Neosho, Missouri is celebrating its 60th anniversary all week. Today, students were able to get a special tour to learn about the school's history. There's also a Spirit Week, with today's theme asking students to dress like it's the 60s.
That students come here, feel a rich history of service, not only to a country and a community, but to others, and to be able to continue that in their career and their lives as they enter the workforce or transfer to a four-year institution.
The rest of the Spirit Week includes wearing sports gear tomorrow, wearing bright colors on Wednesday, and wearing Crowder blue on Thursday. Students with the Pitt State School of Construction secured themselves a victory in a national competition. Not only did they get first place, they won $20,000. Earlier this month, the students traveled to the Final Four MCAA student chapter competition in Phoenix. The team was one of 22 chapters out of 48 across the country to submit a proposal for a national energy project last fall. The chapter won $10,000 and will be matched by the MCA of Kansas City, totaling $20,000. Joplin schools today honored students who excelled on standardized tests. They hosted their Academic All-Star celebration. It recognizes 4th through 8th grade students who earned advanced, proficient, or growth scores on last year's MAP test. The event was put on hold for a couple of years.
It's exciting for us to reboot the program. The program was very important to people in town. It was a sense of pride for the students and especially their parents as well, that the school district and the schools recognize their improvement and their proficiency on the state exams.
Today was focused on East Middle School. There will be celebrations for other schools in the district throughout the next week and a half. This weekend's tornadoes in Arkansas destroyed a church in the town of Wine. But that wasn't going to stop the church's pastor from holding Palm Sunday service. Reporter Alejandro Hernandez has more on how they made it happen.
Look around and see that things are different, and we know that things are going to be different for a very long time. But I would take this 100 times over again to make sure that y'all are okay.
Members of Wynn First United Methodist Church arrived on Sunday for services. For many, it was the first time seeing their church after a tornado decimated it.
For me, it's more seeing the members being upset. You know, for a lot of them, this is where they grew up, and this is the only church home they've ever known.
For Pastor Carter, there was no question about holding services, but there were talks about moving. In the end, there was only one place to be.
The idea of meeting here and being seen here, even in the midst of our building being damaged, just seemed like the right thing to do.
For Julia Thomas, who has been a member of the church for over 50 years, being able to celebrate Palm Sunday in her own church was overwhelming.
When I got the text message this morning, it just brightened my whole day to know that I was going to get to come to church this morning.
Pastor Matt Carter's words brought comfort to the congregation. He showed them the church has seen changes before and come back. This time won't be any different.
This is an opportunity to really be the people that we've known that we are for so long, and to live into the faith that we proclaim in Jesus. And it's just a building. We'll build another one, and we'll continue on.
Pastor Carter said he looked forward to the rebuild and creating new memories.
I'm actually excited about what the days and weeks are going to hold, because I think something big is going to happen in our town.
A bit later, we'll take a look at some helpful tips to protect yourself from hackers.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a very warm, windy day for us today, and it's going to get windier as we go through the overnight hours tonight into Tuesday. That's why we do have a wind advisory in effect. Once again, not as strong as what we saw last Friday, but moving, getting up there a bit, especially as we get through the daytime hours for us tomorrow. Red flag warning out to our west where the humidity is going to be quite a bit lower. All right, we're quiet right now. Nothing's going to happen tonight, but we're tracking our next storm system building out across central parts of the Rockies, and that will start to affect us as we get really into tomorrow night. Look at the future wind gusts. By morning, winds are going to be gusting 40 to 45, not 60 like Friday, but they're going to be up there, 40 to 45 throughout the daytime hours for us tomorrow, and then they start to calm down as we get into Wednesday. The winds won't be near strong. 72 in Nevada, 77 in Miami, 77 in Anderson, 71 in Chanute. Of course, severe threat tomorrow. Highest is just to our east, but we're right there. So at least a low to moderate threat. We have a very low threat in the middle of the afternoon, middle to late afternoon, but I think our main show is really going to be 11 p.m. till about 3 a.m. Main threats, hail and tornadoes. I'm going to keep tornado threat low. That may go up, but there's definitely a tornado threat as we get into tomorrow night. So let's go ahead and break this down for you. Tonight's fine. We stay into the upper 60s. You can open up the windows. It's a great night. As we go through the daytime hours tomorrow, clouds increase by the noon hour, upper 70s. I expect we go into lower 80s during the afternoon hours. So actually overall, pretty good day. 78 by noon. 83 by 5 p.m. Southerly winds 20 to 30. All right, so let's look at the time here. It's 5:30. A few isolated thunderstorms, mainly to our east. But the ones that do get going could go severe, but I think 90% of us stay dry until tomorrow night. So here's 9 p.m. Watch what happens. We're going to go to about 10 p.m., 11 p.m. Here it goes. Right along the cold front, big line, showers and thunderstorms. And some of these could be individual supercells, and especially ahead of the line. So that's where our main tornado threat is going to be. Within the line, it's more of a hail threat. But look at these pushing east, not till 1:30. So these are nocturnal storms. So we're going to have that severe threat tomorrow night until about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And then finally, it pushes through and we look okay by the time we head into Wednesday afternoon. Rainfall is kind of hard to figure out. We got to see where those heaviest storms pop up. But I'd say most of us on average pick up about a quarter, maybe a half an inch of rain across the region. All right, so an alert day for us tomorrow due to the severe threat tomorrow night. 57 on Wednesday, 61 Thursday. The rest of the week looks great. The weekend looks great. We could get some thunderstorms in here Sunday evening, but most of Easter looks pretty good. And then next Thursday, that's our next severe threat. So we go about 8 days without a chance for severe weather, and then it roars right back in.
And then at 8 days, it almost puts us halfway through the month. So
yeah, next Thursday is like the 13th. So yeah,
perfect. All right, thank you, Doug. Coming up in sports, Player of the Week honors for a pair of Missouri Southern student athletes. Plus, the Frontenac Raiders begin their state title defense at home against Fort Scott. Jacob Leonard has those highlights and more after the break.
Well, the Frontenac Raiders are the defending Kansas 3A state softball champions. It's their third state title since 2016. Today, though, it's a new season for Frontenac. The Raiders kick off the 2023 schedule at home today against the Fort Scott Tigers. The Raiders go straight to work with the bats. Hattie Pyle really thought this one was gone. Off the fence, though, Maddie Lejadas scores. Frontenac on the board. That is a double for Hattie Pyle. Moments later, Mia Brown up, pulls it hard down the third base line. Pyle comes around to score. Raiders get 4 in the first inning. Top of the second now, Tigers with a runner on third. Check out Caitlin Hayslip. Perfect throw. Hayslip gets the pick off at third. Avery Johnson in the circle for the Raiders. Strikeout here ends the inning. Johnson strikes out 7 today. To the fifth, 9-1 Frontenac. Tinley Sullivan wants to go home early. Big fly to left, clears the fence. 2-run jack for Sullivan, and that's the end of it. Frontenac wins their opener over Fort Scott 11-1 in 5 innings. Now in Baxter Springs, big CNC matchup here with the Lions hosting a doubleheader against Columbus. Baxter's 4-0 coming in, the Titans 2-0. Game 1 tonight, Reagan Pitts hits a grand slam for Baxter Springs, and the Lions win that one 8-6. So in Game 2, Baxter Springs trying to sweep the doubleheader. Gracie Major cruising in the circle for Columbus. Strikeout there. The Titans lead 5-1 going to the 5th. And now it's 6-1. Here come the Lions with a runner on. Kennedy Reinhardt blasts one to center. Over the wall out there for the 2-run homer. Just like that, it's a 6-3 ball game. Now the Titans have an answer, and it comes from Katie Simpson. Deep and gone. Solo shot there. It's back to a 7-3 lead. The Lions keep hanging around. Jaylee Baird drops one just fair into left. That brings a runner home. RBI single for Baird, but it just wasn't enough in Game 2 tonight. Columbus wins 8-4 to split with Baxter Springs. Missouri Southern sophomore Tragan Parker has been named the MIAA Baseball Hitter of the Week. The Webb City High School product had a big week at the plate in 5 games for the Lions. He was 9 for 21 for Southern, hitting for a .428 average. Of those 9 hits, 6 of them were home runs. Finished the week with 15 RBIs. Now on the softball side, Bailey Lacey, MIAA Pitcher of the Week. She was 2-0 against Nebraska Kearney and Fort Hays State. Back-to-back complete game shutouts, 23 strikeouts, 15 of those came against Nebraska Kearney on Saturday, and as a new program record, Lacey is now 8-0 in the circle this season with a 1.98 ERA. Missouri Southern women's basketball finishes the season ranked in the top 25 in the country. The Lions are number 18 in the final WBCA poll of the season out today. Missouri Southern finished 29-7 overall this season, but they really finished strong. The Lions won 17 of their last 20 games. They won the MIAA Conference Tournament and won 2 games in the National Tournament before falling in the Sweet 16. The team they lost to, by the way, Minnesota Duluth, finished as the national runner-up over the weekend. And normally I'm not one to take too much stock into polls, but they moved up to number 18 after winning the MIAA Conference Tournament. They won 2 national tournament games, made the Sweet 16, lost by 1 shot to the national runner-up. Didn't move. They should have.
Definitely a slight when you make it to the top 16 teams left in the tournament. To finish at 18.
You lose by 1 shot to the runner-up in the nation. I mean,
it's a tad bit head-scratching. All right. Well, great season anyway, ladies. We're back with more after this. Meta takes artificial intelligence and robots into a new era. The parent company of Facebook has announced they're one step closer to developing robots with advanced skills. They say they've created a way for robots to learn from humans performing daily tasks through videos. Some tasks include cooking, cleaning, sports, and crafts. After this, the robot is capable of moving around and rearranging objects from one location to another. More people are turning to chatbots as an informational resource, but educators are concerned about the potential risk for students. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman says technology such as his company's ChatGPT will change education much like when calculators changed how math was taught. Education experts say the new technology could also lead students taking more shortcuts and not necessarily learning the material themselves. With the right software and tools, a hacker could target your vehicle, but there are ways to protect yourself. If your vehicle has a remote start app, it can be compromised. A tech expert advises changes to your password to something unique. Make sure it's not the same password you use for other accounts. Telematics or the system that monitors your vehicle's data can also be vulnerable. The tech expert suggests contacting a car dealer about cybersecurity being put in place. Up next, middle schoolers in California take a field trip that they for sure will never forget. We'll hear from the students after the break. A group of students from a school in Oakland are going on a field trip, but these middle schoolers are not going on your typical museum or trip park. Where they are heading is a destination even adults have on their bucket list. Fox's James Torres has more on where they are going and what they're doing once they get there.
At Gate D inside SFO, a group of 12 students from Oakland are standing by, getting ready to do something they've never done before: get on a plane and spend spring break in Hawaii. The morning started at West Oakland Middle School. A dozen students and parents met chaperones and organizers of a big trip.
Oh my God, I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm all of that because it's first time traveling without me.
These students selected to spend spring break on Oahu and Maui for free, a collaboration between Oakland schools, Alaska Airlines, and a travel luggage company called State Bags.
Keep your backpacks if you have like water. This is part of it, and this is part of growing and kind of feeling like, wow, I'm going to be really far from home and from my family. And, you know, that's why we do this, is to get kids really understanding that, you know, there is a world outside of this neighborhood.
Aloha! The company's co-founder says this is part of State's Travel Academy. Not only is it a chance to spend time in tropical paradise, but these kids will learn how to be mindful tourists, learn the state's history, and volunteer.
We want this to be sightseeing, but we also want this to be soul searching and soul building.
You're not checking the bag?
At SFO's check-in gate, the students say the idea of traveling to Hawaii is still sinking in.
I don't feel it yet. Like, I don't think it's real yet. All right, you guys ready for Travel Academy? Yes. Yeah.
But by the time they crossed through security and made it to their gate, the emotions started pouring in.
I'm excited. It's just like, I just want to explore the place. I'm not scared, but I'm nervous because like my first time on an airplane.
All I know is like they have a beautiful scenery, which I love sceneries.
These kids say they're grateful for the opportunity. Parents and organizers hope they soak up everything beyond the sun.
I hope she takes away everything they have to offer, the experience, the flight, the culture, the place she's visiting, being around the indigenous places and learning about the people there.
They want to change lives and like show kids that they care for them.
And I hope they have an absolute blast. And that's our time for tonight, and thank you all so much for joining us. But before you go, we'll leave you with a video of a dog in Utah playing in the snow. Be safe, and we'll do this all again tomorrow. See you then.